I've been on a number of cruises, and it's basically all you can eat all day, right? And I've done that dieted, which is not the best idea. And I have literally gained, like when I've taken it to the extreme, gained 5 to 10 pounds of actual fat in a week, meaning like I came back, lost the bloat, and I was still 5 to 10 pounds heavier. Like, I mean, this was like just gorging myself after this is like much younger, not the best relationship with food, and not a good plan. And I've also gone on cruises where this past summer, I was probably eating about 5,000 calories a day for a week, obviously gained weight, but I would say I was bulked up, but I was just kind of in my normal state. Within 1 week of getting back to just, 2,000 calories per week, a little damage control, I was back to my normal weight. Like first of all, your hunger is less, right? I think we might have lost Jeff for a second. There we go.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. First of all, your hunger is way less, right? So I think people talk about differences in metabolism, and we kind of know, yes, there are differences in metabolism, but two of the biggest determinants are also like your NEAT, right? And how you respond to surpluses, but also hunger. It's very common that people with a higher appetite obviously think they're eating less, and then vice versa. And so just to eat, quote unquote, whatever you want when bulked up is so different than eating whatever you want when dieted down, right? It's just your whole life is just different in those states.
Yeah, I'll experience the same thing for sure. Like your body will force you. I think it's called like the dual intervention model, where it's like if you're too high or too low, your body will like force you. And I find that it's around 15 to 16%. And I think that's a fairly common number. It'll obviously vary from individual to individual. For some people, like if they go above 13%, they start like losing their appetite. And I can maintain 12 or 13%, but I can tell that it's not quite the same as like 15 or 16%. Like I'll get a little bit more hungry, portion sizes will creep up a little bit, and I'll just feel that push, that invisible hand of the marketplace just pushing me towards 15, 16%. If I go above that, like I'll start losing my appetite and I'll get pushed back down. But I still don't think trying to maintain 15% and main gaining is going to be the best way to go, even if I feel perfect at 15%. And I think that's the trap that some people fall into. They feel perfect, and yet just physiologically, they're not really in the correct state to build muscle. And I can even feel okay at 12%, but it's not going to be anywhere the same as like pushing things up to 18, 19, 20%. And I think past a certain point, you actually get like a negative effect of bulking, like maybe it's through partitioning or insulin sensitivity or something. But past a certain point, it's almost like the bulk doesn't help you anymore. I think that's where bulking gets a bad reputation, where people go beyond 22, 20, like somewhere in that low 20s, it seems for most guys. I think that's where bulking gets a bad reputation. And I think going beyond that is really only going to be possible with low quality food anyway, which is why it's called a dirty bulk typically. Like it's partly the body fat percentage, but partly the food quality. And those two sort of go hand in hand, because you can't get like to 30% body fat eating mostly like whole natural foods for most people. It's when you put in like the super palatable, high energy density kind of stuff where things can really like Jeff Seed. I would say he's naturally lean. He got sloppy for sure. What did he went to 220 or 230? Or he went up pretty high.
It was at least like 230. Yeah.
All I know is he had a double chin. So
yeah. I will say though with Jeff, and I totally agree with all of your points. In Jeff's case, I just looking at the video that who was it? Doucette that put out a video on it.
A lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people. But I do feel like you were looking at the worst angles and things like that. Like I feel like that same Jeff side could take a pumped picture in good lighting and it would just look like most of us bulked up.
Agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought he looked fine actually. Apart from like the double chin. But like if he cut carbs and cut salt for a week, he'd be fine, I think.
Yeah, I think if you just put some down lighting and filmed from a top down angle, he'd look amazing. But yeah, Jeff pointed out some good points just now. So getting to 30% body fat pretty much requires you to eat garbage food unless you have a really massive appetite. But for most lifters that I've seen, they tend to hover around 15 to 20%. That seems to be a very manageable range when you're eating reasonably good food at a rate that you want, right? The only exception for that is if you do something like go mad, and you gain 10 pounds or more in a month. But what happens when you stop drinking all that milk? You cut immediately, just similar to what you described with your cruise experience. So it's not a natural state for you to be in.
Yeah, for sure.